This is Thursday, November the 2025. Current time is 6:04 in the p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was just going to make this a random video, basically, mostly encompassing NVDA, probably. Has Tesla had their earnings yet? No. Anyway, that's what I had a while back for what I thought Tesla could gravitate up to or bounce off of or whatever. But the number I had then, which I don't believe in this number is going to be all that accurate, was 388.47. That probably is null and void. That probably doesn't mean anything. More than likely, Tesla's earnings was back here on October the 22nd. So it's going to be November 22nd or so before they have earnings again. But I'll go over NVIDIA real quick and why I think that NVIDIA has done what it's done. And I pay attention more so statistics and probabilities than anything in the news or what they might say or whatever. And I typically see like a higher level or lower level than I expect potential support or resistance in that area. And that's typically when I look into it more so. I can, show different examples of why I think this works, and I can show you examples too if it fails also. But NVIDIA, in my personal opinion, the gravitational point was 191.12, which it did that before earnings. What I was expecting was it to stay within 3 deviations from the 1 minute to 1 day chart from the anchored VWAP. From there, it almost did. It went $1 below what I thought it would, which is really close. I mean, even the wicks aren't, or the whole body anyway. It don't matter. Really close to being accurate. Gravitational point was always 190.112 before earnings. Usually if that's a gravitational point, then that means on a statistical basis it really is a flip of a coin, which means if you can hold it long enough, and if you short it you can make money, and if you long it you can make money within a day or so. But I don't see that as being super beneficial to play it off of a median level. The levels that I look for are more extended to the lower side or higher side. Again, like, Agram's on the 30-day, 30-minute time frame may pick it up at 164.91, 165 basically. Whenever it comes down to that level, which right now it would appear like, it might be aiming for that, but who knows, it might be picked up right now because it's below that. Anyway, there's millions of reasons why it might be picked up. But, like, I have an alert set for 133.67. That is extremely low. That's at 161.8% level. That would be a really, really good buy at that level. But NVIDIA is, I didn't even pay attention to earnings call yesterday, but anyway, like, at the way these levels work is sometimes it happens right away, sometimes it's like 2 months, sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes whatever. Basically there's algorithms that will pick it up at 165. That's just how it works sometimes. But if it cracks down below that, then typically it'll come up to it and then reject again if this really high pressure is selling, around that area. And algorithms sometimes, this had how many shares traded today? This had 341 million shares traded today. That's one of the top traded stocks of the day by far. It was all sell pressure pretty much. Pre-market it looked real healthy after the actual earnings call, and sometimes it retraces to where it was before. And if that's what it wants to do, then that's where it's at right now too. There's algorithms that do that. It was here before earnings. It had a good earnings. The future looks bright or whatever, so this will be picked up. There are some that do that, but I still like. I'd rather go for much. I mean, I'm obviously greedy because if I'm waiting for 133.67, that's that's a hellacious drop. That's almost $60 drop from the statistical mean. So yeah, that's really greedy to buy it up down there. But there's plenty of other items you'll see it at that. If it happens to break down that far, that will also buy it up like crazy around that time. Will that happen? I have no earthly idea. I really don't. Only thing I do is set the alerts and then wait for it to happen. And I'm not going to go for examples. You can just take my word that, sometimes this works, sometimes it don't. It's like anything else. If it was a guarantee I wouldn't make any videos, I'd just make me $1 trillion and then, just tell everybody, like, this is how the market is broken. And I've, I figured it out. But I figured out a portion of it, a slight slice of the market, in my personal opinion. I know that it's confirmation bias or whatever, because I'm right sometimes and sometimes I'm just not. But since you can see where a statistical mean is, and then like plus 3 deviation, minus 3 deviation, I did that backwards. But since you can set it up in those areas, and that's more algorithms pick it up there, more other buyers see it's more of a sell up here, they see more of a buy down here, and then they really see it as a much bigger sell at 248. That'll be all-time high by far, and then a buy at 133.67. That's a huge range. It's over $115 range, right? Something like that, almost. Yeah. So yeah. Let's see what else I can talk about. That was 7 minutes on a freaking NVDA. I think that's long enough video on that. The only thing I can do is say what it looks like this particular moment in time. It looks very bearish. Yesterday, pre-earnings, even the ATR trailing stop on the 30-minute time frame, it all got picked up. The 50 moving average also got picked up. I believe the ATR trailing stop is more of a gauge than anything else, and like any moving average, because it happens over a long period of time. But typically, if you have a major spike, then as soon as it starts breaking down, then you can have a major downward move. Like the first 30 minutes of the day is mostly buy volume. To me, that says buy, but it already set up for failure because the Mobius volume waves is showing it as bearish. So everybody was like, okay, we're not getting any more buy action from this. So you can see about how the sell volume just keeps on coming in. You had one decent one today, but that still didn't outpace the previous one. And the rest of it, well, at 2 o'clock and 2:30, you had nothing but buy volume in there, pretty much. But still, it didn't outpace the previous ones. Well, I don't know, it kind of null and voided all from 12:30 to about 3 o'clock. So all that got voided out basically for sell pressure or buy pressure. At 4 o'clock today, though, you almost made a really good doji. That one showed up as being mostly sell volume, but it also trying to trip over the Mobius volume wave. So that's all hard to read by itself. But it's still the deal. The first portion of the day, that first 30 minutes, it sealed its fate for the day, pretty much. And algorithms seen that, and they seen the buy volume, and then they seen the lack of volume, but mostly sell volume, and they just hammered it on down. And algorithms don't care. They know how to read this, the actual chart, right? Because like whatever they say in the earnings don't really mean much of anything. Again, I've seen it before, like, earnings comes out and they're very positive sounding and very good numbers and all nothing but profit. The future looks bright and the stock will still drop. But it's all algorithms that control it. If there's mostly bearish action, that's what you'll continue to get until it makes some actual trip or reversal. Then you'll see it trying to become, an opposite way. let's see where he's at the beginning of the day. Technically, on a day, like, it shouldn't drop too much more. Again, unless it's like, just algorithms are selling like crazy for whatever reason. Come on, baby. Yeah, U's already in plus 3 deviation pretty much on a day in pre-market and from earnings. So on a technical basis, you suppose it had a pullback if it wants to do exact retracement and then pick it up from where it was at this morning, and you're really close to it now. It's like 176-ish, and low today was 178.41. So that would be your full range on the day. Now, does that mean forever? No, for the day. So it's what I'm trying to get at is on a day, it's less and less algorithms that are going to be selling right now. Now, I can't say if they're going to keep on hammering down because I ain't read any news on the day. I have a regular job and I can't pay attention to every little thing. But yeah, that's unlikely that it will. The algorithms anyway will keep hammering down. All right, hope you're happy, healthy, and well. Goodbye.